hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome.
Hello.
Hi. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it, get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, NBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Rumble, Tiki Live, Audible, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. Because there's no gossip on the show, no scandal, and no K words. No Kardashian talk, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So there are topics and guests to that end, and we address things that are going on only for solution. And today is a very special show day. It is show number 816, I believe. Now that I'm counting, I am grateful for all of the support I've had at this amazing station. So grateful, in fact, that I have my station manager on today. Please welcome to my studio, Mark Westwood. Hold on, Mark. Phone. Oh, there. Sam got to it before I did, and then I double dipped him.
I'm here.
Mark, if you could do me a favor.
Yes.
I don't have an answering machine. I have a questioning machine. When you call me, it says, "Who are you? And what do you want?" So, Mark Westwood, who are you? And what do you want?
Well, let's see. I'm Mark Westwood. First of all and foremost, a friend of Dr. Marissa's and Sam, who's in the studio. And I'm the general manager of KCAA. I get blamed for a lot of stuff. And, I'm kind of a political activist as well. I've been involved as an officer with the Democratic Party in San Bernardino County for a number of years, first vice chair. And now I'm currently almost emeritus. I'm the congressman who appointed me did not run for office again, and I didn't run for last time. So I will be off the Central Committee probably in about a month or two, which will be nice, actually, after not being on since 1995. You still with me?
I am still here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And there's still an echo. I've been on my phone, and I went back on my computer. And I apologize, but you're going to be doing most of the talking today. So we'll just move with a little bit of echo on my end.
Okay. All right.
Sam, do you still hear it? I'm just so frustrated. But
I'm not used to being on this end, so we'll see here what's going on.
I know. Sam, remember when there was an echo when we did the co-host show on your end? Is there one button that you can, hello? Oh, okay, so it's not me, it's Mark. So that's the good news, bad news. Sam, could you let Mark know to try to come back on? So it is not me. That makes me feel a little bit better, but we're going to go ahead and take a bite of my gratitude sandwich to start with. And that way, when Mark comes back on, hopefully the echo will be fixed. Let's see. Is that better?
Is that better?
Oh, yes, it was you.
Sorry.
That's okay. Did you have another device on?
No, I had two windows open.
So I'm just happy it's not me. Because I can totally live with, I guess, having it. If it's me all the time, we're in trouble. But anyways,
Don't mind me. I just
you were
build these
saying.
things. I just build these radio stations. I don't actually go on them. Anyway,
that's not true. You have a show of your own, and I have to say right now, the first gratitude, we're doing the gratitude sandwich. I did warn you a little bit on this. Every morning I like to start having 8 specific things that you're grateful for, and it's a wonderful way to start the day. And my guests get 4 and I get 4, and the only rule is that it has to be specific. So I am grateful for, first and foremost, my station manager, Mark Westwood, who I met, I believe we're going on 7 years. And I meant to go back and look. I remember the very first time I spoke with him, and he's like, you absolutely have to be here at the station. I was actually referred. I was a guest on The Money Show. And so that's how I met Mark, and it's been a wonderful, fabulous union. I was at another station for a while, broadcasting live there, and then taking the show and bringing it here. And then I believe 4 years ago, I became fully wedded to my favorite #1 AM FM station out of the Inland Empire, broadcasting everywhere. And so that is 2 gratitudes, 1 for Mark and 2 for the station, 3 for Fred Lundgren, our station owner, and 4 for all the guys. I just broke my rule of being specific, but I'm going to cover all the guys at KCAA for just a tremendous amount of support. In the back end, we've got Mike Lundgren, Rick in the Morning, Joe, Sam, Miguel, Polly. Who have I missed?
Oh, I think you got them all, just about all, and you're stealing my thunder. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, as I'm supposed to do these 4 gratitudes now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one is, you're right. I'm very grateful. I have probably the best crew I've ever had at KCAA, and we all came together through the pandemic, hung together, and I think that brought us all kind of to a closer bond and a commitment to the radio station and what we do. And I just have a super professional group of people who are generally interested in putting out a good product. And in times where radio stations are having a tough time, KCAA is faring a little bit better than most. So we're happy about that. I'm grateful for that. I am grateful for Dr. Marissa, who has always been a fun, shining light around KCAA. She brings a level of professionality that we all try to strive to. So thank you, Dr. Marissa.
Thank you. That was so sweet.
And then, I'm thankful. I love my job, and that I get to have a job that I had earlier. I had my hat on from Cal State San Bernardino. I'm an alumni there, and then also from San Bernardino Valley College. And I went into broadcasting, and I'm still in broadcasting some years later. And I love it, and I love my job. So I'm grateful for that. And lastly, 2 things. I'm grateful for the rain, because it's raining right now here in Ukaipa, where I'm at. I don't know if it's raining where you are.
It is.
And I'm also grateful that, and Sam will get a kick out of this, there's not one leak in my entire roof. And I had leaks last year, and we fixed it over the summer. And so Sam helped me with that. So hey, Sam, thumbs up.
I'll give Sam a little applause, only because he's my sound engineer and co-host on Thursdays. I don't know if you know. I don't know if he told you, but he's holding down Thursdays with Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa. So this is for you, Sam.
I do.
Do you know that we flirt with each other on the air once a week?
Oh, you flirt with everybody.
You have a point there. If I could see Sam's eyeballs rolling and laughing and blushing right now, that would be pretty funny to have him on camera. But Anyways, you are just a little bit in the dark, not literally. So if there's a way to get a little more light on you, I'm sure my listeners and watchers would love, because there's eyeballs rolling in. We do have people streaming. And I'm glad you're here because I brought Mark, who's also my resident political correspondent or political educator for me. I was my only defense is that I was born in Canada, but I did become American by choice. I became American following 9/11. In fact, I was the first group to go through to become, this is my country of choice. And so I take voting very, very, very seriously. And I'm always yammering at people who shake their heads and say, what's wrong with this or that, or the politicians are corrupt, or we have problems with this and everything, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. And then I ask them, do you vote? And they say, no, one person doesn't make a difference. Or I
yes,
don't want to. Yes. So since it is voting day, in case you don't know, I hope you do, but I thought I would ask Mark on to walk through everything that in particular California is facing now because of the what's going on. And there's a lot going on. And so I thought I'd ask Mark.
First, let me start off with this. The fifth thing I would be grateful is that we live in a democracy where we can vote. And a lot of people sacrifice for this vote and years and on the battlefields and everything else. So what we need to do is exercise our right to vote. Voting's been going on since October 11th through the mail. You may have received a mail-in ballot. If you lost your mail-in ballot or you don't have a mail-in ballot, you can, it's kind of rainy, but if you're in San Bernardino or nearby, you can go to 777 East Rialto Boulevard. That's the Registrar of Voters. Walk in, and you can vote there. Or you can vote at some voting centers. There's one in Victorville, one in Apple Valley, one in Ontario, one in Barstow. So they kind of tried to, have the voting centers there. You can look those up at sbcountyelections.com, sbcountyelections.com. So you can get out there and vote. And then, don't be intimidated. Even if you vote for one or two things knowledgeably, then just vote for those one or two things. But, do vote, do exercise your right to vote. And the reason is this: your vote does count for one thing, and one thing primarily is the what I call weight of your vote. There's been a lot of people that have cast aspersions, maybe mostly falsely, but still, that, elections can be stolen or that sort of thing. Think about it this way. You can move 100 ballots real easily, and that could be easy to cheat, or 1,000's harder, or 10,000's even more difficult, or 1,000,000 is almost impossible. So, vote, because the sheer weight of your vote with everybody else means that it's going to be a valid election. And that's what we need to do and have a good turnout. And then secondly, you don't want other people speaking for you. And this is my little soapbox here. Envision that person that you really don't like, and they're voting and you're not. So then you then you realize, oh my gosh, they're voting and having my voice and I'm not. So that's why you need to go out and vote, and it's very important. You can vote all the way till 8 o'clock tonight. 8 o'clock tonight.
Great commercial. And, give me that website again. I'm going to put it up in the chat.
sbcountyelections.com. SB, of course, for
Elections.
County.
Elections County. Okay.
No, SB County. SB, the word county. CONTERY, and elections.com. sbcountyelections.com. And then, Google's a wonderful thing. Just Google San Bernardino elections or elections period. There's people that hear us in Los Angeles County, Riverside County as well. I'm in San Bernardino County, so I'm talking about San Bernardino County. But everybody has a similar situation. There are voting centers all over Los Angeles. And of course, there's a very heated mayor's race in Los Angeles between Rick Caruso and Karen Bass.
Yes.
Both claiming
Now,
to be Democrats.
Oh, really? Rick Caruso's claim. I thought he was Republican.
See, that's what's the big mystery, is he was Republican up until about 18 days before he registered to run for mayor. And then I guess he thought, well, it's better that I'm a Democrat. So I have a little bit of problem with people that change their convictions that way. And then,
Yes.
kind of bait and switch.
Yes. Yes.
And I also have a problem with rich men buying elections. I'll talk about that a little bit more in San Bernardino County. Money does talk and is the mother's milk of elections, but you shouldn't be able to spend millions of dollars tramping and trouncing all your opponents and then win. You should win because you have a track record, because you've had a track record of service and good service and quality service, not just that I'm just the richest guy on the planet, And so as you can see, I'm probably, I don't get a vote, but I am supporting Karen Bass, and who has just been absolutely shellacked by his millions of dollars in the race. So I'm supporting Karen Bass and would recommend that.
Yes.
So.
I am as well. It's interesting. I used to, first of all, when I get the stuff in the mail, if it is touting and highlighting what is what the track record, as you were saying, then I'll read it. But as soon as it crosses the line of disparaging the other person, I don't look at it. So most of them, if not all of them right now, they go directly into the trash. Now, I will ask you, let's say you're a candidate and you want to run positively with your track record, and then you have this slew of millions of dollars of disparaging stuff. Do you come back and defend yourself and then shoot the volley to the other person? You have to do that in order to stay, in the corrected limelight?
Well, there's two ways to win elections. That is a lot of money, and then, they're doing what the millionaires do, or you make that difference, the differential up with volunteers, with support, with endorsements, with, people who will support you and work for you and do phone calls and walk the precincts and things like that. And that's the difficult way to do it, and like in San Bernardino, there's a couple of measures, Measure D and Measure EE, where a rich millionaire has bought a bunch of signs and had them put up. And there's just, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but there's really no campaign there. It's just a guy with a lot of money fooling voters. And that's not cool either.
So the solution is to not be swayed by the slick ads, the slick purchased lobbying. But how do you know which is which?
Well, you got to pay attention, unfortunately, or listen to the recommendations of people you trust. And that is, I'm just getting a phone call from the guy I'm going to be on the air with tonight at 7. I'm on the air from 7 to 10 with election information as well. And you got to be able to trust people or take recommendations or look, Google is a wonderful thing. Whether you're a Republican, you go to the Republican Party, or you go to the Democrats and you're a Democratic Party, if you don't have the time to research, then you got to read a little bit and, go to trusted sites. Like, my Democratic club has ucaldems.com, yucaldems.com. And you go there and it's all listed there for you. So it's kind of like a cheat sheet, which I have here too. And, there's a lot of money that's playing. We have got to, in this country and especially in this state, have some sort of election reform that says you can only spend so much money on election, maybe 2.5 times the amount of the salary of the office, or you can't come in from out of state and pour a bunch of money on a proposition. And, Prop 30 is a good example of that. The Lyft Corporation, the people that drive people around, decided that they could profit from that by disguising it as an environmental measure. And what it really will do is just, let them suck off a lot of money out of the state tax funds for their own purposes. And it just is not a good thing. So one of the things I'll tell you is to vote no on Proposition 30.
Okay, so no on 30.
Which is a good, very interesting thing. Governor Gavin Newsom, a governor, came out and said, don't vote no on that. Usually governors don't campaign against propositions. It's pretty interesting.
So that's saying something. Yeah. I usually, and for those of you who just tuned in and you're wondering who's in my studio, and you may see, like, he looks familiar because he is familiar to all of our faithful listeners on KCAA. He is the station manager, Mark Westwood. He's also now wearing the hat, or no hat, as my resident show political advisor, because I'm bringing him on today. It is voting day, and it is very, very important. And I'm going to play something that he sent me. Hopefully it will come through, which is a message from our president. So let's see. Tell me if this sounds. I've been waiting to play it because I knew you were coming on, or I was hoping you would come on. So let's see if this will play. Can you hear it?
I can't.
Oh, okay. So it's only in my earbuds. So that's not going to do it. Let's see if I share it. We'll try one more thing. And if this doesn't work, we'll just keep talking because we're very shy, both of us. Sarcasm is another service I offer.
These propositions, so
okay.
Overwhelming majority of Americans
can you hear it
believe
now?
our democracy is at risk.
Okay.
They too see
I won't play the whole thing.
Is on the ballot this year, and they're deeply concerned about it. Just a few days ago, a little before 2:30 a.m. in the morning, a man smashed the back windows and broke into the home of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the third highest ranking official in America. He carried in his backpack zip ties, duct tape, rope, and a hammer. As he told the police,
oh, well, I guess that's the end of that. It worked for a little while, and it's enough to emphasize how important it is for us to vote. But okay, go ahead on the measures, Mark.
What the president is saying is the democracy's on the ballot. It's very valid whatever party you're involved with or your set of values or core beliefs, democracy's on the ballot, and you need to vote. And to keep our elections and our secure and safe. Like I said, the pure weight of your vote and the vote combined with others will make sure that there aren't any problems with our elections. And in California and in San Bernardino County, there's never been a problem with our elections. They're run very, very well. And I have to give them kudos. I did my mail-in ballot, sent it in, and I got a text back that said your ballot's been received and counted. And, that's the way it should work. And, I don't believe all these election conspiracies, by the way. I think our former president, 45, has done a really bad thing and disservice to our country by refusing to, say that, he was defeated and then, charging people up the hill on January 6th with the violence and the police officers that were hurt and 3 people were killed. It's not a good thing. And there's, in over 60 different court decisions in 60 different states, because elections are not federal, they're all state by state. They're all state by state. Nobody could find anything anywhere, any place, any evidence that said anything was done badly. And in states where the ballots were counted over and over again, and audits were done and reviews were done, it actually, and a lot of times, gave President Biden more votes, and he did get 8 million more votes. So we need to cut this out, and we need to move forward. Donald Trump, go ahead and run again on your values if you want. And, if you can make a good argument and you can win, that's the way America works. But you can't win by cheating the vote by cheating the facts and creating your own set of facts that aren't true. So that's what President Biden was talking about. And democracy is on the line. You need to vote.
Absolutely. And if it sounds like we're slanting more on democratic values and message, we are. I have been pretty much mum and bipartisan and not going one way or the other. But I'm concerned now enough at the level of support that Trump has that I decided I'm going to be like Jimmy Fallon and lose a bunch of listeners and watchers because I'm coming out pro Democrat, because I absolutely know that people who are so blind and have been gaslighted towards Trump and who are just so they don't listen to any kind of reason. I can't change that, but I know there is a a significant percentage on the fence. And so this show is for you. If you haven't had the time to research, if you don't want to see our country divided to the point of civil war again, and you have values of upholding women's rights, the ability to have a say with her body, all those things.
Just common decency, Dr. Marissa. When a man enters the Speaker of the House's home resident and hits her husband in the head with a hammer, you can't condone that. That is wrong. And that's the kind of thing that is coming from this. And we've got to stop it. We've got to just go vote, people, and, have your voice, but listen to facts, listen to reason, and realize that after 2 years and there's been no substantive proof, and that at the January 6th hearings, which were, the Republicans were invited to, and Kevin McCarthy of Bakersfield, who was leading the Republicans, said, no, we're not going to participate. But then, did you realize this is an interesting fact? Not one Democrat was interviewed on the January 6th panel. They were all Republicans, and they very much made the case against Donald Trump. Former staff members, people that work in the administration, political people that are Republicans that supported him, said, no, he was wrong in this case. And yes, he did do it. And so, what can you say? The Republicans made the best case for that. But, all that, that's a national thing. And I hope that people will vote their conscience and vote locally for the good candidates they have.
And that's the connection why we're doing this today, is that you may be like me, undeclared, but if you don't vote for Democrat local office, then that's going to feed into the national level. And I know that for some that may seem basic, but for me, as I came from Canada, I didn't grow up understanding the electoral and all of that stuff. So,
and Dr. Marissa, we don't need to apologize for being slanted Democrat, because people like Alex Jones or Sean Hannity or the late Rush Limbaugh, they were very slanted Republican and made no apologies for it. And we don't have that big a voice compared to them.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. I have permission. Let's go to the measures.
Okay. So where do you want to start? At the top?
Yeah. Let's start at the top.
Okay. Proposition 1. Proposition 1 codifies a woman's choice to have domain over her body, to be able to make the choice if she wants to end a pregnancy and terminate a pregnancy. And I'm just going to step back as a man and say, well, I have one vote. Women should have the voice on this, and that, they should have domain over their own body. And it just, I am not a fan of abortions. I'm Catholic. I don't like abortions, but I do have faith in women, number one. And I have faith in God, and I have faith in women. So let me tell you what I say, those two things. And this is my view. that I have faith in God, that God would never let a little baby suffer. So if you have faith in God, then you realize that, he's not going to let a little baby suffer during abortion. Number two, I know most women, and they do not have late-term abortions. They take this very, very seriously. And with, we're not talking 1960s terminology anymore. We're in 2024 with EPT tests that you can go down to the local supermarket for $20 and get an EPT test and know within a matter of minutes. And, whether, a woman is pregnant or not, she can make that decision early on. And I believe they'd make the best decisions. And women, that's your domain, and you should make those decisions. And I, as who I am in particular, don't have much say so over that. So, that's your choice, your set of values, whether you want to codify abortion into the state constitution or not. But that's what Proposition 1 is about.
Got it. And I thank you for, you can be against abortion and still vote for a woman's right to choose. So there you go.
You leave it up to women to make that choice. And
Yes.
I believe it should be early as possible, safe, rare, and legal, which is what Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton said years back. That's kind of the way it is. Yeah.
Yep. Did you know she gave me an award back in 2005? I have a picture of me and her.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
2005 Role Model of the Year. And when you go through Proposition 26, I'll go get the picture.
Okay, well, I'll
turn.
go through Proposition 26 really quickly. We have two measures that, again, propositions, and why the proposition process is bad is both of these are by out of the state people who have come into the state and poured a lot of money into getting ballot initiatives passed for their own purposes and their own gain. 26 is a gaming initiative. And this one I have to kind of say qualifies because some tribes have backed it. But it's mainly against the card parlors down in Orange County and places like that where they're allowed to have, poker and legalized poker. And the tribes don't want to have that. They want to be the end all to be all. So the California Democratic Party is neutral on 26. However, I'm a vote no on 26 because, I don't believe in fixing hangnails with hammers. And that's what this is. And anytime it does that, I say no to a proposition. So I recommend a no vote on Proposition 26. But I also recommend a no vote on Proposition 27. And that's where what I'm holding in my hand, a tablet or a cell phone, anyone, any age can gain access to that. And they can do sports betting, which is not allowed in the state of California right now. The people, Duel and FanDuel, that are the big proponents of this, the out-of-state corporations, really want California to do this. But 98% of the money will go outside the state of California. They try to, sweeten it with helping the homeless, but only about maybe 10 to 12% of any of that money, the net proceeds, would go to helping the homeless. And Proposition 27 is an assault on our Indian tribes who have invested and put a lot of money into, gaming operations. And it kind of violates our gaming compacts that we made years ago with these tribes who are just, they're trying to have, equal worlds.
Make a living.
So,
yes.
And make a living.
And we took their land. So when it comes to
although they have done it very well, by the way, they have done it very well. So I say no on 27. That's the 27.
Got it.
Now, along comes Proposition 28. And this is kind of the sleeper proposition. And I really heartily recommend a yes on Proposition 28. Do you know what Proposition 28 is, Dr. Marissa?
Yeah,
Probably,
to
yeah.
1% of the amount funded for public education be set aside for music and the arts in every K-12 public school. Yesterday was STEAM Day, or no, today is STEAM Day, STEAM. I was a speaker at the last STEAM conference, so I absolutely agree. Yes, on Proposition 28.
Yes, on Proposition 28. Yay! Three cheers. Hip, hip, hooray for Proposition
And
28.
I agree with you on everyone except maybe Proposition 26, only because I thought that it was more pro-tribe if it was yes. If that's not true, because I'm pro-tribe.
Well, I'm pro-tribe too, but it gives an uneven playing field to those who don't have a tribe.
Okay. All right. So we'll go into that with our eyes open. How's that?
Yeah. One person, one vote.
That's right. Proposition 29.
This is what I call, and literally, pardon the pun, a gut-wrenching proposition. It has to do with kidney dialysis. And it was on the ballot one time before, a very similar measure that says if you have a dialysis center, you have to have, a legal registered nurse practitioner or a doctor or someone on hand at that dialysis center to make sure things are being done right. Because dialysis centers, for the most part, have been kind of private operations with technicians. And dialysis, what are you doing? You're taking all the blood out of somebody via a machine, pumping it through the machine, filtering the blood, and then pumping it back into someone. Well, that's not exactly a safe thing to do. So, some people say, well, if they have to have, doctors and technicians, or nurses and nurse practitioners, that it would shut down kidney centers and they wouldn't have access to their dialysis.
Those are the commercials that are on.
Yeah. On the other hand, right, it's a safety issue. And that's a tough one. The California Democratic Party says to vote yes on that. The nurses associations, most of them are coming out in favor of that because, I think that, it's not a smog pro. You're not going to fix your car engine. You're really having, but then on the other hand, the other argument is there's not been a lot of deaths in dialysis centers either. Not a lot of problems have been caused with that. So the California Democratic Party says vote yes. I'm leaning towards no on that one.
Okay.
And that
now it got defeated. It was defeated before, as you said, once on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this question: what would Trump say? Would he vote yes or no?
I think he would vote no on it because, he's just all about making money, and kind of the people that are voting or that are supporting the no on it are the people that have a big financial investment. Mm-hmm. And so depends. Do you value human life and safety of human life, or do you value profits? And that's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah. And let me just briefly interject. I am not against Republicans. I think there are some great Republicans, but I am against Trump. So that, to me, as long as there's a possibility that me voting that will help, the Trumpers or that whole, make America great, which makes me sick to my stomach because it's not great going back to racism and misogyny and all of that. So that's why I asked you the question. I would want to use that as a measure for me, and I can't, I'm going to get in trouble for all the things I'm saying today, but I'm doing this consciously because I can't not say anything anymore. What you permit, you promote, and I can no longer support this level of horrific corruption, dishonesty, lying, outright, stuff. So Just in case you just tuned in and wondering why I'm actually taking a stand today, that's why. All right.
Okay.
So, and I interviewed Jimmy Fallon, and I got to speak with him, and he came out and said how many listeners he's lost and how many followers, So if he can do it, I can do it too.
Well, and they'll come back. They will come back. I truly believe that. People get mad because you have a stance or an opinion. They're really flawed. Everybody has the right to their own ridiculous opinion. And so that's what my grandfather used to say. And that's very true. And you have to respect that and respect others' opinions. And if you don't like what we're saying, then don't vote how we're doing. We're just making a case for how you should vote. Prop 30 real quick. We talked about that already. Yep. Now talk about herding cats. They always say Democrats are like herding cats. You can't all get them to go in one direction, which is what I like about my party. It's not lockstep. It's not like go team. We're all going to go left or all going to go right or up or down. In this case, Proposition 30, the party said to vote yes on it. But the governor of the state of California, the leading Democrat, says vote no on it. And I'm telling you, I'm leaning towards voting no, because I'm still with the hangnail and the hammer, and this isn't good, and this inures a corporation too much. And I don't think that.
But let me read it. Let me read it, because the way it's listed: should California raise the personal income tax of its wealthiest residents to pay for programs meant to fight climate change and air pollution? Why would you say no? I mean, just at face value, I'm like, yes.
Well, that's the analysis. That's the government analysis. That's the analysis that got put on the ballot. But the other part of the reason you would say no on it is because of who put it on. Number one, it was the Lyft Corporation. And number two, in all of that, if you ever read a ballot, the verbiage of a ballot proposition and the legalese of it, it just goes on for pages and pages and pages in 7-point font. And in all of that, it inures the Lyft Corporation to be able to garner money from the state of California straight out of the taxpayers' fund. And that can't be allowed. And so that's why the governor's saying no. And I believe back in March, when the California Democratic Party had their convention, the people at the party did not know enough about Proposition 30 yet, because they were just coming about. And so sometimes it's not only the way it's worded, it's the process. And so I voted no on Proposition 30.
Okay.
So
I'm going to have to do a little more research on that. But the one thing you did raise, that it is sponsored by Lyft. And I think it's so important that you look at who is sponsoring the measure or the proposition, because that will give you a clue that goes beyond the wording. So that's a really good thing. Follow the yellow brick. Follow the money. It's funny, when I first came to California, when I first became American, and I didn't know how to necessarily vote, I was told that if it is government control, always vote no. Obviously, I spoke to a Republican who, that's the general rule. And it does make sense. You don't want government messing with your right to choose things. But this next proposition, 31, should California ban flavored products? If I use that heuristic to say, okay, well, that's got more government control, let's say no, then we would be hurting the kids that I covered the story on, actually. Yeah, that they were saying as kids, of course, the more flavored something that is distasteful is, they're going to go gravitate towards it. So I would vote yes. I also want to say that if you are in that same boat that I was, unknowingly, and government control is not a bad thing on things that we can't seem to control ourselves.
Right. And Prop 31 is mostly about, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, marketing to younger people flavored tobacco products. It's not.
Yes. Uh-oh. Did I lose you? Mark. I lost him. Okay. He'll be back. There you are. Oh. All right. His connection is giving us some.
I think that's.
There we go.
There we
Tobacco.
go.
You were saying tobacco marketing to flavored to kids. Yes.
Products to young people. Yeah.
Yes.
And so you would vote yes. I had about 5 texts that came in right on top of my tablet here, and then I think that's what happened. Anyway, I would like to get to some local stuff if that would be possible. Can I indulge
please.
a little bit?
Of course.
Okay. In San Bernardino County, there's some elections going on here too locally, and in San Bernardino County, there is a Measure EE, which, believe it or not, the 4 out of the 5 county supervisors, all Republicans, voted to put on the ballot a measure that says we need to get more money from the state of California, which we always do, and we need to be told to do that. And then the second part is that if we don't get our way and get our money, we have the option to attempt to secede from the state of California. It's a secession measure, which won't work, by the way, because it has to be approved by the California state legislature. That's not going to happen. And it also has to be approved by Congress, and that's not going to happen. It would be expensive and everything else. But what it does is it gives a license to the county board of supervisors to write checks to whatever they need to write to be able to pursue that. And so it's a really failed measure. However, the person behind it, Jeff Burham, is a guy that sued the county of San Bernardino once in 2016 for $102 million, and once during the pandemic in 2021 for $65 million. He won both of those lawsuits. He has a lot of money, but now he's suddenly concerned that San Bernardino County, where he sued and got a lot of money from San Bernardino County, won't have enough money, which is just a false thing. But he has spent, and this is the millionaire spending a lot of money, he has spent, along with just about 5 other people, over $200,000 to get 2 measures passed, Measure D and Measure EE. And Measure EE is a no way. And so if you want to find more information about that today, you can go to a website, nowayee.com, nowayee.com, and that really has an in-depth look at Measure E and why you should vote no on it. And then Measure D is kind of, it's the old hammer with the hangnail thing, but a lot of unions and a lot of Democrats are going along with it because what it does is increases the term limits. Because about 4 years ago, a millionaire from outside California, a Florida millionaire named Red Brennan, got a measure on the ballot to do term limits for the county board of supervisors. People weren't paying attention to the verbalese, again, buried in the measure and not up front and not in the analysis, that limited the county board of supervisors to 1 4-year term. 1 4-year term, which is ridiculous because, you know,
you can't have change in that quickly.
And in that sort of time.
Yeah.
So this measure, what it does is it increases it to 12 years. And that's a good thing. So both Democrats and Republicans are supporting that because that will stabilize the Board of Supervisors again and give us professionals back on the Board of Supervisors. But on the same token, it also says that in order to raise taxes or fees, say you needed to provide for clean drinking water and you needed money to do that, you would have to put that on the ballot, and the voters can only approve tax increases. And I don't know that that's good either. A lot of people would agree with that. But I don't know if that's good either, but it's kind of like accepting the bad with the good in this case. And so, you know, yes vote, choke on Measure D in San Bernardino County, a no vote on Measure EE. And unfortunately, Measure EE will probably pass because there is no movement against Measure EE because everybody says it's ridiculous, it won't pass, so why waste our time and our money? But at the same time, it is a checkbook to spend, and so that's why I'm against Measure EE. Moving on, there's a mayor race in San Bernardino County. No, in the city of San Bernardino, I apologize. The city of San Bernardino. Now, you know, KCAA used to be in San Bernardino. The city's a wreck. it's a disaster area. And has been for a number of years. And the primary reason it's a disaster area is because the voters don't vote. Dr. Marissa, in the primary for mayor, 5 mayoral candidates did not get combined together 15,000 votes in a city that's 245,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
almost like the election should have been disqualified for lack of participation.
Right,
So now we have 2 candidates. One is a former city attorney who was recalled, and now he's running against a personnel director by the name of Helen Tran, who is a nice lady, but unfortunately, I think wholly unqualified to do the position. She's just not ready for prime time and to be mayor and lead a city with 250,000 people and a multi-million-dollar budget. So there is not a good choice there, and now it's just a matter of speculation. And to get through the next 4 years in San Bernardino, Penman's a hawk. Penman doesn't get along with people. He is at best egotistical, narcissistic, forces people to do things. He doesn't lead, he forces. That's a problem. And then, but he is
familiar.
Earnest. Yeah. He is earnest and does believe in what he believes in, and he does care about the city of San Bernardino, although it's in a very different way than is good for the leadership of San Bernardino. And it's going to cause a lot of tumult and chaos, I'm afraid, because he always does wherever he goes, causes tumult and chaos. And then Helen Tran is a very lovely lady. She's very nice. And the one comfort you can have is that she probably will make good decisions. But will she be able to work her way through the foray that is the political machine in San Bernardino, the city of San Bernardino, and come out at the other end with any kind of working, successful administration? And it's kind of doubtful. Yeah. So there's not really good choices there, but you got to make it. And I guess if I had a vote in my hometown, which I don't live there anymore, I live in Yucaipa. If I had a vote, I would vote for Helen Tran, which brings me, and I know we got 2 minutes, so I'm going to say in District 1 in Yucaipa, please vote for Sherilyn Long. She's being really trounced in the last few days by a well-funded Republican who's putting out a flyer in one hand that says he's the Democratic choice, but, screams out in political forums he hates Democrats, and he said that. Or then he puts out a Republican flyer that says that, bad Democrats and he's the Republican choice, and just puts the opposite lies on either flyer. And you can't have somebody's that dishonest when they're running for office. Imagine when they're in office. So don't vote for Matt Garner, vote for Sherilyn Long in Yucaipa. And I guess we're almost to the end of the show here.
Yeah, we are.
So,
and
tell me when to shut up.
Well, it's been great. I'm going to just pop in for Attorney General. I am absolutely for Rob Bonta. I am also for Governor Newsom, of course, U.S. Senator. I am going for Alex Padilla. I've had the pleasure of interviewing him. For the controller, I'm all about colorful women, but I do love her strength and where she stands on things. Malia Cohen is who I'm voting for controller. And then for Attorney General, did I talk about that one yet? No, Rob Bonta. I did say that. Yep.
Treasurer, can't leave out Fiona Ma. Don't leave Fiona Ma out.
That's
treasurer.
That's it. Treasurer, Fiona Ma, and of course, Asian Rock, Asian Pride. We're out of. Go ahead.
Insurance Commissioner Richard Lara for Insurance Commission, and Tony Thurman for Superintendent of Schools. Okay.
Fantastic. This is Dr. Marissa here. I was going to show you if you recognize Hillary. This was in Washington, D.C. When I got the award. But thank you so much, Mark, for coming on and helping me understand and clarifying. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. I hope you enjoyed this fabulous discussion with Mark Westwood, my station manager. I want you to remember it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Come back tomorrow when we have dream analysis once a month with Julie Lohr, my resident dream and expert. That's tomorrow. Now go and have the best day ever.